Amrita. Welcome today to this interview series. So let's start with your brief introduction and some work experience of yours.
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon, Padma. My name is Amrita. I have completed my BTech in Computer Science and Engineering in 2019, and after that, I have joined TCS. I have worked in TCS for almost 2.5 years, and initially I was in a different project, but after 1 year, I was a Azure data engineer there. And after TCS, I am currently working with KPMG. So it's almost more than 2 years with KPMG, and overall I have almost 4.10 years of experience. In KPMG also, I'm working as a data engineer, and most of the technologies I have worked in is Python, PySpark, SQL, different Azure services like ADF, ADLS, Azure Functions, and uh, these services. And in my current project, we use a little bit of AWS as well, which is S3 and CloudWatch. And also we read data from different Kafka streams and write them to Iceberg tables. And the project currently I'm working with, that's in financial domain. And there I am part of big data engineering, digital banking system. Sorry, not big data engineering, it's a digital banking system. And there we read the data from different Kafka streams, process those data, apply some transformation on those data and store them in Iceberg level. Also, this is like for the daily load, and for the historical load, we are reading from databases and storing them into Iceberg. So this is kind of a summary of the current project I'm working in. And previously, in my previous organization, I have worked in mostly developing the in-house ETL tool, and there that was oil and gas domain, and we used to read unstructured data files and like well log related data, and apply transformations and other things over the data and stored them in again in ADLS location. So that was complete cloud based, but the current one is mostly in-house tools we are using. So yes, that's all about
Okay,
projects.
yeah, cool. Let's start with. I just want to understand more about your current project. If I'm not wrong, that is this Kafka streams and adding the data to Iceberg, right?
Yes.
So is it like, can you explain a little bit more about it? Like what kind of data you're reading, and is it like what is the window that you're reading the data? Is it a scheduled job, or like how is it? Can you explain a little bit more about it?
Yes, so like we have a ETL tool in place, that's in-house ETL tool. There we need to select like what source we want to read from. So suppose in my daily load, I need to select like the Kafka, like my source type will be Kafka, and I need to provide the like which from which Kafka topic I'll be reading, which partition I'll be reading, those things. And the like we use low offset and high offset concept. So between the low offset and high offset, we read the data in one batch, and again from the high offset plus one, it starts reading the next batch size of data. And it is mostly like it's a banking related data, so it's like transactional data and customers data, like this. And after reading the data, we have a storage layer, like staging layer, that we load our data in S3 directly. And after storing, the processing starts, like we read the data from S3 location, and we write our transformation code, like that depends on the business logic what is required for the specific services. And after the transformation of, like after writing the code, we deploy it into Git. And our in-house ETL tool, in our in-house ETL tool itself, we need to create another pipeline which will be reading from S3 source. There will be using the source as S3, and sync will be my Iceberg, and that will connect with my transformation code which is deployed in Git, and it will run the transformation over the data and ultimately store it in Iceberg.
Okay. So in the entire pipeline, what is your role? in that? Like which part of it you are directly working on?
So my role is like creating the pipeline from different source to sync, and as well as writing the transformation over the data.
So it's like end-to-end pipeline design and focusing on the transformation of it, correct?
Yes, yes, but we don't have to design it like everything over there because the ETL tool is already in place. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like JSON based. We are using the
Okay.
like the configuration types.
Configuration. Got it. Got
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Okay. So when you say like offset and in Kafka streams, right? So it's like an upstream team that is loading it into
Yes.
Kafka, or it's like handled by you?
No, the we are not the producer, so it is
Okay.
produced by upstream team, and we are just
Mhm.
consumer of the topic and data.
Okay. So as if I understand correctly, it's like real-time processing. As I understand, you are
Yeah,
handling offsets and reading it, right?
yeah, near
So
real
mhm,
time
near
almost.
real time. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so in this, like while you are working on the processing and all, right? Anytime did you ever face an issue with delay in the data or like some out of order data or any issues, any failures, and if so, how did you handle such cases?
So, like normally we haven't faced anything like that yet for the like any delay from the Kafka side or anything. But it's like one time it happened that the offset was lost. Like our flow was running, but it was stopped by someone by mistake, and it was stopped for quite a long time. So the offset was missing, and when we again restarted our flow, it was not reading the data. So in that case we actually need to we have a like from the upstream team itself, they also maintain the git where the topics and from which partitions for specific service it is mentioned. So we had to check that git repository that for our specific topic what are the partitions and what are the offsets actually available currently, and we had to read from the current available offsets, as like we have a retention of 30 days, and the flow was stopped for I think 12 days, but it was so those between for like 12 days those data was missing. So we had to go back and recheck like what was the current available offset, and we had to update that in our pipeline, and we are able to consume the data again.
So how did you tackle the missing data? Did you do like manually process it through the same pipeline, or how did you do that?
Yeah, it's manually processed. Like we just changed the low offset and high offset, and we checked it. Like we have a watermark section in our tool also, so we just update that one, and it started reading the data. So it's manually. It's we don't have to do anything else on that.
Okay, so as you added, you have watermark section and all, right? Can you talk
Hmm.
about what is an watermark and like in which scenarios do you really make use of that concept?
Yes. So suppose in case of reading while from Kafka, it's a low offset and high offset maintained in watermark section. So there it is normally like we have to provide a batch size when we are doing the configuration. So suppose I have provided a batch size of 2 days. So it will read like 2 days data together like that. And in the watermark section, what it will be. So first my lower offset will be my starting date, and the higher offset will be 2 days date, like after 2 days date. So when it matched with the with the available data and in my watermark section, it will read the data and it will store it in the S3 layer. So this is in the case of Kafka. But suppose I have a Oracle in place, and like my source is Oracle. So in that case, like I don't have any filter, and I don't want to load like all the historical data at once. Maybe it's a very huge data and we have a lot of data there. So in the watermark section we can manage that as well. Like there we use like lower watermark and higher watermark. That also depends on the batch size, and we can provide the poll frequency. So poll frequency is like till that time it will run the whole batch. It will take this time, so within this time how many batch it is able to read, it will read that, and it will update my watermark section higher part. And from the next run it will again be my lower offset, lower watermark, and the higher will be updated according to that.
So, as we are talking about some concepts around the streaming watermarks and all, right? Can you tell me what is the difference between like what is event time and processing time in such systems, and when we kind of focus on what, like, yeah,
Processing time and another one,
and
sorry.
event time. Do
Sorry, I
you
don't
okay?
know.
Yeah, that's okay. That's true. And here, as you said, right, you are working on the transformation logic as well primarily. So, in like, what kind of transformations you have been using? Like, can you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So we are reading Avro File mostly. So if suppose some Avro files are quite nested, so we have to like uh, uh, flatten the structure. And after flattening that structure, suppose it's a transactional data where that it holds the PII data as well. So we don't want to store the PII data directly to our database. So we will perform hashing in case we need that. And in some case like those data, few of the columns are not at all required, so we will drop those columns which are not required from the source side. And suppose we are receiving some of the data which are already in encrypted form, but we don't need it to store it as an encrypted form, so we will perform decryption in that case. And one like sometimes it happens the whole file is encrypted and we cannot like read it directly, so we then perform file level decryption and read those data and store it accordingly. And we store the data is like we segregate into two tables. One is PII table and is another is non PII tables. So in the PII tables we store the data, the primary key data, the primary keys and the PII data. PII data will be encrypted there. And in non PII table we have the primary keys, we have all other columns, and the PII columns will be hashed. So these things we perform, and in case we need to perform any calculation specifically, then we do calculation and adding of the columns as well.
Mhm.
So it actually depends on the services which we are working on.
Okay. Okay. So, like, while you were working with Spark jobs and running them daily or maybe through your pipeline and all, like, let's say, like, you have some scenario like maybe in this cluster or wherever your Spark job is running, maybe some executor is down or something while things are being processed. Like, so in that scenario, like, how do you make sure that entire execution is like tolerant to all of these issues or any such failures, like what are the different things you look at to get back things into flow?
Yes, so sometimes it happens like maybe our data is too huge and the configuration we are using that is not able to handle and it's taking a lot of time. Like it happened with me. I was working on a account service and there the whole pipeline was taking almost 12 hours to complete, and it was just 6 million data per run. So as it was taking too much time, I went to the like Spark job UI part, and I was saying like it is almost taking up the what are the available partitions are there. It is taking the taking all the partitions full, like they are getting utilized 100%, and so a lot of jobs are actually waiting, and it's not able to parallelly process the data perfectly. So I checked like what are the executor memory already assigned to them that actually I don't have control over, but according to the memory and the resources which are allocated to that service, I changed the partition factor. Like I increased the partition factor, and after increasing, I checked a significant difference. Like initially it was 16 partition, I changed it to 256, and after changing it almost getting completed within 1 hour. So that one optimization I have done. And sometimes like I've seen from the job UI part itself, like some executors are not at all like they're sitting vacant, and some uh, uh, partitions are completely full. So in that case I check like if there is any skewness why this is happening with the data, and these things I try to fix that.
Okay, so let's say like your few of your partitions are full and the data is not properly distributed and all, right? So
Hmm.
what do you think like can happen if you leave things like that? Is it like slowness or like what are the things that might happen like if it is left unresolved?
Yes, I think it will be like slowness itself, like some of the partition will be overloaded and as others are not working at all. So it had happened with me one time because the partition columns which I have choose, though those are not part of actually filter columns. So in that case, like I choose account ID and then I choose effective date. So it was firstly segregating according to account ID and then it is segregating according effective date. But when how our pipeline works, like it actually check effective date first because we have that watermark criteria, right?
Yes.
So it was wrongly done. So after checking that, I have seen like few of the account ID it is going to every partition and it is first checking in effective date and then going inside that. So it was taking a lot of
Yes.
time, so
Okay.
that was resolved like that.
Mm.
So
And
yeah.
so you mentioned Avro format, right? So
Mm.
you are using Avro format in your data that is ingested into S3 or after the transformation you are using Avro?
No, while reading we are reading Avro files but we're storing it
Mm.
in Iceberg table.
Okay, okay, Iceberg table. Okay. And any particular reason of choosing Avro format and not any others?
I think like in case of real-time processing, Avro is best suited as it has a better serialization capability rather than Parquet. But it was like already chosen before I joined the project. So I
Okay,
think this
that's
is
good.
the case.
Okay, got it. So you said iceberg, right? So I mean, what is the reason of choosing iceberg? If you are a part of that design discussions, I would like.
No, again, I was not part of the design
Okay,
discussion, but
okay, that's mhm.
yeah, I think like it
um,
is. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, I think it
Yes.
was like suggested by the downstream also. They want to ingest
Read it.
from,
Okay.
yeah,
Mhm.
from Iceberg, and Iceberg has that schema evolution capability. Like we don't have to drop the whole table. So I think that's why Iceberg was chosen.
Okay. So I suppose like you might know a little bit about iceberg as you have been writing the transformation jobs and maybe writing to iceberg tables, right?
Hmm.
So can you talk to me about a high level architecture of iceberg, like how things are stored? If
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm not
not really.
that much
Okay.
sure about it. But while
Okay.
storing,
Mhm.
I like what I need to perform in case of storing, like in the ETL itself, tool itself, we need to
Okay.
provide the Iceberg table name.
Configure.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the
Got it.
configuration just I need to provide that how it will
Mm-hmm.
be stored, like which column
Okay.
will be used for bucketing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Okay.
those things I just need to choose, but I don't have that
Mm-hmm.
much.
Got it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so maybe let's change it, change the conversation a little bit to some basics, maybe. So in Spark, like we have different data structures we use, like RDDs, data frames, or data sets, right? So can you talk a little bit about them and when we choose what, based on your personal experience, maybe?
Okay. So RDD provides the low level APIs. It is
Mhm.
the basic form of data structure available in Spark. So in case we need to perform like read from the raw data, which is like log files or something. In that case, we use RDD and
Mhm.
perform transformation over that data. But data frame is mostly used when we need we use high level APIs, and as well we need to provide the optimization in our transformation code itself. So data frame comes with good optimization techniques inbuilt. So in that case we use data frames. As I mostly work in PySpark, so I have worked in RDD and data frames only. But
Okay.
data sets actually, I have some basic idea about, like data set provide, it comes in between this data frame and RDD, which provides like type safety as well as optimization power. So yeah, that's
Okay,
kind of.
got it. So you like in Spark optimization techniques and all, right? You talked about you checked about partitioning the not to just avoid any skewing of data and all, right? Can
Hmm.
you talk about any more optimization techniques we can check if we see a slowness in Spark job or there is some issue in Spark job? Uh, any more techniques or like any more strategies you think of whenever there is some issue? To
Yeah,
check basically,
salting, like, wa- I can
not
check in.
really, not
Acha,
really
not.
about skewness, but let's say one of my Spark job is running slow or like it is taking time or it is doing the IO is like too much or the data flowing here and there is too much, like what are the different things you go and check, and where do you first like check what are the where do you go and check why is this slowness happening, and what are the different measures you try to take to optimize this issues basically?
Okay, so first I check in actually my transformation code. If my
Mm,
transformation code is doing any unnecessary
mm,
join or unnecessary UDF has been called, which can cause slowness of the data definitely. And like in that case, I'll try to filter the data so that, like if possible, on filtering the data and reduce the data volume, I can do that. And in some case, if some intermediary result is getting increase the partition factors, and mostly I first try to check my code itself if I have
okay.
written it properly or not.
Mhm.
And if I find that yeah, code is fine, and it's doing properly, then I go to Spark UI and check the executors and the jobs,
Mhm.
which is performing like what. So that's how I check
Okay.
that.
Mhm. Got it. So and as you said, you go to Spark UI and check like how everything is going on executors. Maybe I think you might also check the flow, the tag, and all, right. So
Yes.
in that terms, like I just want to know what is a tag. Just going back to basics, and what is a job, task, stage, everything. Like can you explain me that?
Yeah, sure. So when we execute our Spark code, it when any action is called, it will create a job for that, and job will get further divided into stages that will be divided by DAG itself. So DAG is kind of a graph for all the transformation what has been called, and DAG helps to like create the logical plan of our transformation what we have written. So Spark internally create multiple logical design for that, and between like all among all the logical design it creates, it selects the most optimized one, and from the logical design it will create the physical plan, and the physical plan will ultimately get executed. And like the dog, sorry, not dog, the DAG will sorry. So the DAG will like helps to create the stages, and stages actually depends on how many why transformation has been called in our transformation. So it is equal number of that, and after stages it gets further divided into task. So task is the smallest unit for any action which is performed, and it is mostly divided across the partitions, and tasks are generally like equal number as of the partitions factor available. So yeah.
Okay. Got it. So, are you comfortable with little basics in Kafka, or like how does I just want to know before that?
Yeah, fine, like you
Okay,
can ask,
okay,
I'll try.
okay, sure. So, like, in what kind of use cases do you think we should choose the system or tool like Kafka?
Okay, so like in which kind of scenario we should choose
Yeah,
Kafka?
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So suppose like mostly in case of real-time processing, it helps in real-time processing itself, because in the previous, in a traditional system, it was there could be a chance of data loss. So through Kafka, it stores the data first. We don't have to perform the transformation on the, we do not have to decide what transformation we need to perform directly when we are reading the data. So we have the time, we can store the data in through Kafka in some staging layer, and we can then take the approach like what transformation it needs to perform. So that is one thing, like our data is getting stored, and we can decide it later what to do with the data. And one thing is, like, it can be possible where the big organization, maybe different teams are creating different data, and we have different other teams who are reading from the data. So to maintain, so that not everyone can read every data, right? Maybe some banking related data, some other people should not read. So to provide the security, and which team actually should read what data, and together many people can read one kind of data. So for that, I think Kafka is helpful.
So maybe for some time, let's go back to solving the SQL problem. I'll just share the link. Can you just open that and let's solve them and then get back to our questions?
Yes, sure.
You can share your screen.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, yeah. You can zoom a little bit. Yeah, good, good. Yeah. So if you see here, so as the IPL season is going on, right, and people are talking about RCB, whether it will win this at this time or not, and because it every time comes just near to the title and just kind of like disappoint the fans and all. So yeah, can you just yeah, just yeah.
Okay.
So here the question is related to that, just to get catch of the relevance nowadays. So here my question is. So I have some data that is picked or similar to this IPL and all, like wherein I have three tables, which is one is seasons, which is like IPL seasons, where I have a ID and which year it is happening, and I have teams, which is like ID and the team name, and the standings, which is like what position the in that particular season in the teams are at basically. So my first question, if you just scroll down here, so this is the just an example input. You can get back to that once I explain the question. So my first question would be, I need the output. Like if I want you to print the year, name, and uh, yeah, the team ID, team position of RCB, wherever and basically these details for RCB wherever they ended up as runner-ups. Like they are not winners, but they went to final and they just stand second. Like they just lost that final basically. So I just want you to print that detail, maybe the season ID, year, and team name and team ID of course will be the RCB only. So basically,
Yes.
just retrieve the season ID in which they stand as runner-ups. Just a step back to winning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go through the input as well, and if you want to read the question again, please do as well.
Okay.
You got the question right, like whatever I explained,
Yes.
or you okay?
Yes. So we need to print the year when
Yes,
RCB was second in the table.
yes, yes, second in
Yes.
the yeah, second position in that season.
Yes. Okay.
If it is in
So
multiple seasons, you can print all those.
okay. Okay. Yeah. So season table has season ID and the year. Team table have the team ID and the team name, and the standings. Okay. Standing table will have the team ID, which is present in team, as well as season ID, which is present in season, and it will have
Yeah,
the
basically just
position.
standings give us the position as in the ranking, like who the team which won has a position one and runner up is position two. So in so case like mostly one, two, three, the top three positions you can say.
Okay. So in this case, as we need all the information, so I need to join three tables, and I will be performing a inner join. And from the team table, team name is RCB. So I need to find the team ID for the RCB, and where their position was two. And then I need to check position two, and what was the season ID for that. and
Yes.
I'll get the season ID and I'll pick the year from it.
Correct.
So shall I proceed?
Sure. Yeah, you can write the query. You can go down and just. And if you scroll down, right, you can see the sample output as well for the input. Yeah.
This
This
one.
is the first question we are just discussing now. You can write below that table maybe. Okay, this is an editable document. Yeah, you can write it over here. That should be fine. I hope you can edit it. Let me check. Can you write something? Okay, go on. Yeah, by the way, you can just hide that notification of that sharing thing. Yes.
So select season, the seasons, teams and standings. Season first dot first dot first dot two. Do I need to print all these three also, or only season year is fine?
Yeah, you can just print everything as well. Like I think you're already joining it, so it should be good. Just to add it in this. Yeah, that should be fine. I get it. Can you scroll down? Yeah. Okay, I think we are good there. Just to add on the same question. So now we got the that all the season years or like some other details where RCB has come as runner-up. So I want now to get the team names who won against RCB in those seasons. So as we have like now the position is two, right? So for the RCB, now I just want the names of the teams who won, like basically the winners.
Okay.
Yes, against RCB. Yeah.
So I can use the same thing, right? I can just
Yeah, just copy it and maybe enhance it, or you can enhance it directly. Yeah, you can just copy it and go down. We have the question as well below with the sample output below if it's helpful for you. You can scroll down. Yeah. This is the sample output, which looks something like this. You can just,
each year who has it?
Yes. Okay. Basically, yeah, against RCB. I don't want all the winners. If they won against RCB, then print those teams.
When RCB was second, so who was the winner?
Okay. Yes.
So when RCB was second, I'm thinking like in here, in the same query itself, I'll try to find like the RCB team ID and their position is second. And when it is done, like suppose 1 and 2, they came as second. And I'll check the season ID. What was the season ID at that time? And in that season ID, who was first position?
Yeah, you are going the right direction.
Okay. So I'll take the season ID from the inner query.
I think whatever you just did for the first question, right? You're already getting the season ID. I mean, basically not IDs, but the details of which season it is. Maybe you can write an enhancement to that, or maybe.
Okay.
Maybe you can use the same as whatever you're saying at the inner query is.
Yes. So I can use it as CT also.
Yeah, whatever we can do.
Yes. So from here, I got the season year, but year is not part of that. So year will be present in here, and okay, seasons. We'll change that as season ID. Season ID. So from city, I got the ID and the year. Now I will join with this one. Join with standing, where position was 1. Yes. I'll match with the season ID for both of them. So it will be select join dot season ID plus st dot season ID. I got the matching season ID here, and I need the st dot season year from this is st dot plus st dot team ID and where. So from this join, I got only the season ID where RCB was second, and from here I got the team IDs. So now I will match where the like season ID will give me the inner join on the season ID it was there. So I'll match where season ID standing position equals to 1.
I think I got your idea what you're trying to do. Yeah. Uh,
Okay, I think I replaced in the wrong question, previous question itself.
yeah, that's okay. I get that. Yeah. Can you scroll it down to the end? Yeah. We have so just one more question I have on the same terms. So as we know that like and it's yeah as added funny there like as it's rumored that whenever the team wins an orange cap, like which is the maximum runs if any player in RCB kind of score, right? They end up losing. That's what like the rumor that was spread among people, right? So in that terms, like I just want you to check the schema of the input tables. Just we have the seasons table as is over here,
Hmm.
and we just have two more tables, which is players, which have something like related to players and which teams they belong to, and performance, which that does mean like which season which player scored how many runs basically. So
Hmm.
here, orange cap, like whenever when a player wins orange cap, like he's supposed to score the maximum runs in that season.
Okay.
So in suppose the season ID one, like suppose a player ID one scored like the maximum runs, then he gets the orange cap. So I want you to write a query. Like firstly, like just think about it, whatever, and let me know your thought process towards the answer here. So I just want you to think about giving me a result wherein what are the seasons wherein the RCB one of the RCB player has won the orange cap, which in turn resulted in the and so in that particular season the team is basically lost the title basically. So there are
Okay.
two scenarios here. You have to check whether in what seasons a like in the seasons where the highest scorer and who got the orange cap is from RCB, and whether in that particular season whether RCB has won or lost.
Oh,
Basically, they didn't get the title. Basically, there are two conditions here based on
yes.
which you need the result, which is the those particular seasons basically.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So just think over it and discuss with me like how do you find the result here, and then we can jump into writing.
Yeah, sure. So in the performance table, it has the runs and player ID. So I can try to print the season ID, the player ID, and the maximum of runs. So if I do max run, it will give me the player ID who has. Can I check the table once, like how it
So
is?
basically, it's just numbers. So season ID, like as you have seen above, right? Season ID one year 2009, and let's
Hmm.
say player ID is like maybe
So
100 or one something, and just runs as in the in that season. What are the total runs by that player?
okay, so is it
Maybe
only
100,
the
200. Mhm.
okay? So is it only the like highest player runs are given there, or like all the players runs?
All the players.
Okay, all the players runs. Then I can group by with season ID, and I'll check like who came, who did the maximum run each season,
Okay.
and it will give me the season ID. Like it will group by every season. It will give me the player ID, who was the player and what was the run. And if we don't need the
Mhm.
run, we can just skip the run. We can just print out the season and the player and who
Okay.
scored that maximum run. So
Okay.
after that, with the player ID, I'll check if the player is player ID will have the team ID as well.
Yes.
So it needs to be joined with this and
Hmm.
uh, but team ID. Okay, so I know the team ID of RCB directly. Suppose two. So
Hmm.
I'll check if the team ID is two, and
Hmm.
then he is a player of RCB. And also like player name and season ID and year. So I have to take in mind also the previous two tables because
Yes.
here,
Correct.
oh, those two tables are also there.
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. So in that case,
Just the
like
same schema, like yeah,
hmm,
team is like team ID, team name, and
hmm,
seasons
standing
like the standings is like who won basically.
who won. Okay,
Hmm.
fine. So then I got the team ID from here, like after joining, and I'll check if it's at a part of RCB team, and if it's there in the standing table, also it will have team ID. I'll check like who came as like I need to check if RCB won or not, or RCB failed to
Yes.
win. Okay.
Fail to win. Like basically, a player of RCB secured the highest runs.
Hmm.
Let's say in season ID is supposed to, and then
Yes.
whether in that season RCB didn't get the title. That's
Okay.
the condition
So
to it. Yeah.
yes. So in the standing table, I'll check the position is greater than one. So greater than 1 means they haven't been the winner. And after that, I'll just like join with season table and get the season ID and the year.
Okay, okay, I get your idea. Sure. Just in the interest of time, let's move to something maybe to a DSA question. And let me just quickly share with you a simple question over here in the chat. Yeah, you can just keep the document open till then. Yeah, you can just copy the question I shared from the chat to any notepad or any editor in your system. So basically, the question is simple. So let's say I have a list of numbers, integers, and I want to find a distinct set of three numbers whose sum is zero.
Okay.
So how many sets can be created? You can just output them all, and the numbers in that set should be distinct.
Okay, and it has to be a set of 3.
Yes,
Sorry, distinct means like it
distinct
has.
in the sense. So here, like I have two minus ones in the list, right?
Hmm.
So if there is only one minus one, I should repeat it. I shouldn't repeat the number basically.
Oh,
But I have
okay.
multiples of it, right? Yeah.
0. Okay, got it.
Can you zoom in a little bit? So,
Yeah.
Uh,
Is this fine?
yeah, good. Yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay.
Maybe first you can talk about your approach, and then we'll maybe write some pseudo code.
Okay. So I want to iterate over the array, and I'll so first my minus 1 is coming, and then it's came as 0, and I'll keep a window size of 3. So I'll only keep on checking three elements, and I'll try to progress from that. And is the order also has to be maintained, or it can be any order?
It can be any numbers. Like it doesn't. It not necessarily be a continuous set of numbers, as you
Oh,
see in the
okay.
output, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Any set of
One.
numbers.
Okay. One is normal brute force approach. That will be, I think, two time taking. If I take a three, like 3 point, one is I, J, and K, and it will start like from the 0th position till second position and try to loop around the list. But I think that will be very like
Yeah.
order of n
Complex.
cube. Yes.
Yes.
So I am trying to think about some other approach. So if I do a three element approach, so minus 1, it starts from that, and I need for make it to 0, 2 elements. 0 can be there. Minus 1, 0, minus 1. Okay. So I need 1 for that. So for the first element is minus 1. I'll first like loop through the whole array. Only one like I is looping through the whole array, and I'll try to check what is the remaining elements, like what is the remaining value I need. So suppose it's minus 1 currently. I'll try to check like 0 minus 1. So 0 minus minus 1 basically. So in that case, I need a plus 1,
Yeah.
and I'll check if I have a plus 1 in my list, and if I have that, I'll add it, but it has to be 3 elements.
Maybe think around like you are thinking it in the right direction, but it's just that not we don't need two. We need one more here, right? Like three we need. So
Yes.
how can we like can we kind of have one loop and inside which you can go with the approach you're thinking?
I was thinking of one loop. Maybe for the third element, we can do that. Like suppose I'm in minus 1, and I'll check like if I have a 1 in my array or not, because the remainder is 1. It will be 1. So in case I find that, then I'll what else I need? I need a 0. So
Yes.
in that case, that remaining again I have to find a remainder, and I'll maybe I did not find that in my current for the current element. So in that case, I can add it to a like extra data structure. I can take maybe a hash table I'm taking. So
Yeah.
I'll add it there. Like this is I did not found in case 0
Maybe
is not there.
yeah. Maybe you can first think about like how do you find those two elements. Let's say you have minus one there, like you're first looping through, you have minus one there, and to get the other two elements, what is the better approach there? Are you going to write two loops or one loop? Maybe think about that, solve that particular snippet, and then get back to anyway. You have minus one read from the outer loop or something, right?
Yes.
Hash
Two
table
loops.
is the correct idea. Yeah.
Okay. Can I use two loops and one hash table?
Uh, okay. How do you solve if it is two numbers? Think about it.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
the
In
sum of
case
two
of
is 0. Mhm.
yeah, sum of two is zero, then I encountered with -1. I need a one in
Mhm.
that case.
Mhm.
So currently I did not find any one. I'll add that one in a hash table.
Okay.
Then I came to zero. So zero is already zero, but it can't be two. Sorry, I need another zero in that case. So another zero is not found currently. Again, I'll check if in my hash table any another zero is there. So if it's not there, I'll add that. Now I have one. I have encountered with one. Now I'll check. I need a -1. Okay. So I won't put the difference. I'll put the element if I did not find any there.
Mm.
Okay. So in case of -1, I'll put it in the hash table. In case of zero, I put it in the hash table, zero. In case of one, I need a -1. And -1 already exists in my hash table. So I'll make it a pair. And then in
Yes.
case of two, I need a -2. So I do not have -2 in my hash table. I'll add this 2 there. In case of
So
-1,
what is
yeah,
yeah, you're correct. So what is how many loops are you writing over there?
1.
One. So
Mm.
now you want three numbers. Like so, this is the
Yes.
inner logic. The next the one pair you got. Like how do you add one more number to that? Like
Yes.
think
So
in that.
to add one more number, uh, I was thinking
Basically, you're
two
doing the same
loops.
thing, right? When you
Hmm.
started, you told like you read -1, and then you need two more numbers. How do you do it?
Yes.
Firstly, you wrote a loop and you read -1, and
Mm.
then you want to write one more loop to get the other two numbers. So,
Yes.
the logic for that you already just discussed about, right?
Yes. So
You just
I
have to like
was,
kind of see how to combine both of that.
yeah. So one thing like nested two loops, will that be a good approach if I
Yes,
nest two
yeah,
loops?
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and I'll be nesting two loops, and my
Mhm.
hash table will be there. So
Mhm.
when one loop will go through the like the from the first
Mhm. Okay,
for each records, and
okay.
next my inner loop will go from I+1 till the
Mhm.
rest.
Mhm.
And so
You're
I
right.
got
Yeah.
-1, I got 0 from my extra
Mhm.
loop, and then I need a 1 in that case. So here I did not find any 1. So I did not find any 1. I'll put that 1 in hash table, and while my next, like I go to that 1. Before
Yeah,
that,
I think you're good. Maybe try to write some pseudocode. Maybe you can try
okay,
putting in something. Maybe you can understand it better.
okay.
Just
So,
don't worry about syntax and stuff. Just go with what you think on high level.
okay. So first one will go from the on this like 0 to the length length of mouse. Inside that, and next is element j will be from 9 I+1. Okay, so j will find 0. Yes, j found 0. Is it 0? No. And I can write a if condition that if j is making 0. Like I
Where will you be defining your hash table?
yes, after like I will put like I'll check what, okay, no, I don't need to check if they are creating 0 at this time, because I need a third element as well. So in that case, I'll check no, I'll check it here itself, that if I plus j is making 0. So if I plus j is making 0, if they are making 0, I'll check what will be the remaining element. So remainder I'll find is 0 minus 0 minus the element. Okay, 0 minus the element. Fine. Remainder. And this element, this remainder, I'll add it in hash table. Rem, I'll add it in hash table. And next, when in the next iteration in J, when J found 1, it was there in hash table.
Hmm.
Yes, it is present in hash table. So it will find that it's there in hash table, and it will form a line. So in this case, I am putting the difference in like the third remainder in hash table. And in case in my iteration, I found that remainder, it will create a list for me. And again for second iteration, it will go to yeah,
Next.
it will, yes, and it will run till like 3 times. It won't run more than that. So I will update that to like I plus till I plus 3, not till whole thing.
Till the
I
end,
plus,
you shouldn't. Yeah.
yeah, till the end I don't need it. So if I 0, so it will go till 4, I plus 4, because, no, I plus 3, sorry. We are starting from 0th location, so I plus 3. So it will start from 0 and it will go till this. After that, it will again start from the next iteration and do the same.
Okay.
I think this.
I think I got your idea. Yeah. Cool. Like I got your idea. Should be good. Yeah. I think we are good with the questions. So, do you have anything to share?
Yeah. Do you want to share the screen now, or shall I
Yeah. You can.
stop
You can
sharing?
stop sharing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are
Yeah.
good. Basically, I just want to suggest that you can get to know a little more things about in the pipeline that you're working on, like some basics, even you're not actively looking at it, as you're talking about it in your project discussion more elaborately, that you're using different other tools and all, right? I would suggest you to know a little bit basics about them, so that it would be easier for you during the integration part as well. Maybe you're not doing it actively, maybe a in-house studio have been using, but I would a interviewer would expect you to know a little basics, I would say. So maybe you can just check on that, and I think you're pretty good in everything else. So yeah, it's nice interacting with you.
Thank you so much for your time.